Hello there.
Hey,
We're
Howdy.
live.
what's up?
We got the crew. Not
Howdy,
Motley
howdy.
Crew.
No, there'll be no dicks on this video. So
No Richards.
no dick shown. So
Have you seen that video of Vince Neil singing? They put the lyrics under what he's saying.
yeah,
Phonetically.
yeah.
Yeah, not quite the words I remember.
I haven't seen that. I guess I ain't hip.
Oh my God. I don't think he's remembered the words for like 20 years based on the lyrics he is singing.
Oh God, he's done more drugs, than anybody other than Keith Richards.
I know. How are they both still alive?
I don't know.
Keith Richards, I think, actually died a long time ago, and he just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keith Richards always says he doesn't have a drug problem; he has a police problem. That's his problem. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So we're here today to talk about our newest Kickstarter launch that occurred today. So this is kind of our grand opening, so to speak. It's for the Crimson Shadows issue 4, already up to $776. So that's awesome. We only need $2,000 for our minimum goal. So we're something like 38% or so of the way there.
Nice.
So we're pretty excited for this. Kevin's looking at porn over there or something.
Yeah.
But
oh crap! I left that on. Oh no!
Yeah. If I die, delete my browser.
Yeah.
Trying to share the video.
What are you trying to share?
Trying to share the video to my timeline. I forgot.
Oh, got it. Yeah, so we just launched today. We got 23 days to go, but we have some really good early bird specials. So I'm going to get into that really quick, and then we'll go do a round table here just to talk about the project, what we're all up to, and it's been a little while since we've done the group chat like this. So
Yeah.
So we got 3 great early bird specials. These go until 11:59 p.m. October 21st. So because I did not math correctly, this is actually 3 days instead of 2. So bonus to all of you folks out there to take advantage of this. So our main early bird special, you get all 6 covers. We have 6 amazing covers for this issue here. We got our unlimited edition. We got Kevin's with the face being torn off. We have Brett's with the plague doctor's mask with a knife going through it. We got my homage cover to Elias, classic cover he did. And then we got a foil edition, foiled again, where we take Kevin's awesome cover, put it in grayscales, but have red metallic foil for all the blood features. And then we have the Ultra Edition, which is a metallic cover featuring Frankenstein in a dark alleyway. So those are all 6 covers. If you buy these all separately, you save $37 from buying them separately. You also get the digital edition as well. So that's early bird special number 1. Number 2 is for all you newbies out there who have yet to be introduced to the Crimson Verse. You get the whole collection with this one, and you save $22 by buying it this way. You get the unlimited edition covers, and just so if you're unfamiliar with Crimson Shadows, our unlimited editions, we reserve the right to if we do reprints or anything like that, we'll reuse these covers. Whereas the limited edition covers, these are one and done. So we won't print them as covers again, unless we find a loophole. No, but so you get issues 1 through 4 of Crimson Shadows. You get 1 through 4 as digital editions as well, and you get the novels, our Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde novel. So $60, you get the full immersion into the Crimson Verse. And then Kevin's been gracious and has created a great early bird special featuring his cover. $25, you get his limited edition cover that you see there, along with a hand-drawn sketch, a 4x6 grayscale marker and ink drawing. And there are some samples there of some of the characters. And then you also get the digital edition as well. So if you don't want to open up that limited edition, you want to keep it nice and mint, you can read the online version. So there you go. Those are the early bird specials. Those, first come, first serve. Come and get them. Once they're gone, they're gone. So let's talk a little bit about the book itself. We got Brett Pinson right below me here. He's our letterer, graphic designer for the series. And then below him, we got Kevin Minert. He's our series inker. Both
Always
of
the
them
bottom.
did.
Always the bottom. Put the inker on the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kevin's not what, the bottom bitch or something, Which in what I hear in street lingo means you're the top bitch. So hey,
I get that. I got good whiskey. That's all that matters right now.
hey, I'm finishing off my the Knob Creek. I had a little bit of the Knob Creek Old Fashioned.
Yes.
There you go. And I'm
Very
boring.
good.
I got my bottled water.
Yeah. I haven't had a drink since I was over at Kevin's over the weekend. So
yeah. Yeah. So all three of us are working on we work on the Crimson Shadow series. And we're really excited to roll this one out. Issues 1 through 3 came out pretty rapidly. And then issue 4, this is a double-sized issue. So it took a little longer to put to print, but it's 44 pages, full color, a lot of action in this. And I'm really happy with how this has turned out so far, especially Kevin's inks have been phenomenal. I'll showcase some of those in a little bit. But give me your thoughts, guys, on the series so far.
And if you're wondering if you can see some of my lettering, I haven't started yet because I haven't gotten the finished pages to start on yet.
Although, here, we have finished product from issues 1 through 3. But yes. Brett's done a great job. Let's jump to Brett real quick. We'll start with him because I've really liked Brett's touch in what? What did I miss?
I jumped. He said, "Jump right up."
Jump.
Oh.
Yep.
So we got like in music, for instance, Star Wars, they have different thematic music they'll weave in when it highlights a certain character or something. Well, you obviously don't have that with books, but I like what Brett has done through use of fonts and lettering. Want to explain a little bit?
I lettered the pictures and it looked pretty.
You use different font types.
No, I did.
And
For the first issue, it goes back to Thomas Scott, and he was like, I said, well, I can letter because I've lettered all my comics over the years, and I was like, okay, I can do this. And I started thinking about it. I was like, most lettering is kind of straightforward. Here's letters. Once in a while, you see some different fonts here and there, not too much in that. I decided to craft and use different. Sorry, something popped up on my screen. I don't know what this is. Go away. Ugh. I hate computers sometimes. So I decided
you an unsolicited Richard pick.
Yeah, I'd have to find mine. I use a Dick Van Dyke pick, and it says unsolicited dick pic, and I send it to everybody. So instead of having just standard kind of lettering and a couple of differences here and there for like effects and things like that, I decided to start crafting. And I didn't tell Scott this at first. I decided to do it and then figured if he didn't like it, we change it. For the thought process of creatures and the speaking creatures, the font's different than what the humans have. And even within the creatures, the coloring's a little different, depending on how much into being a creature they are. And that works with our character Julius, who is turning into a vampire. So he doesn't have quite the same boxes and lettering and everything that Dracula has versus some other people.
Here, I'm gonna make my screen bigger for a second.
That's
you
fine.
Can still talk, but
yeah.
So here's a great example when Dracula talks. If I can aim it, there we go.
Yeah.
So when Julius talks, it's a white word bubble with his font, but then Dracula has a different font and it's a different structure to the word bubble, as you can see.
But they share the same font for the actual letters, showing that they're both in this creature realm, but Dracula is the full-blown vampire, where Julius still has his humanity. Right. And that was kind of my subtle way of showing that. And even when you get to the Adam, Frankenstein, there's a little difference in him. Mm-hmm. And then the humans themselves have just the standard bubbles and lettering that. And then I did the opacity down on all the word bubbles because I didn't want to block out too much of the art. I wanted it to kind of be shown a little bit through that, so it didn't block out everything that these guys are working hard on. So,
you said hard on.
Yes.
In honor of the Beavis and Butthead movie coming out.
Scream by it. Hard on. Fire.
Yeah, so it's really given a nice touch to the book, because it fonts do have different feels, and so when by changing the font, it does give you a different feel for each character. Now we've kind of created a slight little not nightmare, but now we have to remember what font we use for each character.
I still have where's that? Here
we gotta go back to old issues and
I switched computers since the last time I did it, but I have everything backed up here.
Oh, perfect.
So I'll be able to go back, including my little cheat sheet. And then we keep all the Illustrator files, so I can always go back into those pages and just go over and see what the font is. So it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I only do a few different fonts. I try not to get crazy and have like 100. I got like 4.
Yeah.
And then the special effects stuff has been, just kind of like whatever makes it look good. Like there's a scene where in the issue where Adam, not this issue, but the previous issue where Adam says something very loudly. So I made it a louder thing coming out to show that his voice is booming throughout the scene as he's getting ready to charge. So it's
like here I'll get it really close.
Yeah, I got you. There you go.
So it's like super bolded because he's yelling there.
Yep. And again, you can see how his word balloons are. That shows he's the creature at that point.
Yeah.
The creature aspect. So it's definitely a. I think it lends like in music. It lends a voice to the characters.
Yeah.
In a way that when people are reading it, that they'll form how it sounds in their head, but it gives them the emphasis they need more than just like an exclamation point or something like that. Yeah,
for sure. But, and I loved your idea too of just putting a slight bit of transparency to the word bubbles, because word bubbles often cover up so much of the art, and even though it's very subtle, the eye can see what's happening behind it.
Right. Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, and that was so I learned from another friend several years ago and saw him do it, and I just said, "Oh, what a great idea! It doesn't block up the art as much. Doesn't feel like it's popping out too far and overshadows the art. It kind of complements the art, and then the art complements the word bubbles."
Right, but you leave it mostly opaque still, so it's still easy on the eyes to read. So it's not hard to read at all, but you get just enough glimpse. So I love it. You found the perfect blend.
I tried.
Well, you did well.
Thank you.
I highly approve. Yeah.
Well, good.
Good.
And then with Brett, I sometimes surprise him with changes in script that I forget to update.
Yeah, halfway, almost 3/4 way. Actually, no, I was almost all the way through issue 1, and oh no, you got the wrong script. Well, crap. Fortunately, I was able to fix it fairly quickly.
That was fully my fault. We blame the writer
Mm.
for a lot of things.
Yeah, we need to take him back and beat the snot out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the process, I'm doing the writing and then and the pencils, but then I send it over to Kevin, and I absolutely love the inking process. I'm gonna put this up. I'm not going to play it. Let's pause it. But I want to get to the samples just to show it. Like we have a couple pages here, right here. Like here's an example of an inked panel there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So talk about your inking process a bit, a little bit about your heroes. I love how you do your black and whites. You have a great style that you do.
Well, it's different from when I would do my own art. That's what I really enjoy about it. I like when you do the pencils, and we've kind of found our groove where you give me some loose pencils and kind of where the shadows and your ideas, and then I just get to go. And it's so much fun because I feel like I still have some freedom to interpret it a little bit, but also follow your pencils. And you do great layouts. So it's so much fun. And then we've had a lot of different environments, even though a lot of this story is taking place in 2 settings. But In this first beginning, I'm inking it a little bit different just because of the way it's at nighttime. So I know how dark everything's going to be as far as the colors. So knowing all this, I ink it a little bit differently, knowing that it's a dark setting and it's basically mostly nighttime. The lanterns have been an awful lot of fun to figure out the inking, but the process itself it's fairly easy. I just get to throw ink around and have fun, and that's the best part of it. I like getting the textures. I like how you've laid these out, and I get to just I really get to flex my inking muscles and and have it's a great time. I curse a couple of them, but for them, it's been absolutely fantastic. And to not try to give any spoilers, but it's been 3 issues of great building up a story. This issue 4 is just basically all hell breaks loose after the first 3 first 3 pages. It's just crazy, and that double page spread in the middle of this book is going to be one hell of a payoff. That looks amazing. I can't wait to see how you do with the colors, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Our hint is Kevin's cover is the let's say the during, and then the 2-page spread is the after.
And it's glorious. It's fantastic. It's I love that entire panel. You nailed the layout of that because it's such a nod to the old school horror comics. It's something you would expect to see in one of those books, and I absolutely loved it. I adored it as soon as I saw it. As soon as you mentioned that was going to happen, I'm like, oh, you got to make that 2 pages. 2 pages.
Well, then I remember when Kevin posted, he sent a message. We have a private thread that goes, and he sent a message like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome." He's like, "This is the greatest thing ever." He said, "I'm going to do a cover. Here's the cover." And just starts playing around the cover a little bit, and it's an awesome cover. I love it.
It's a great, Scott recommended that for the cover because I was like trying to think of different ideas for the cover, and like, why not, just move that over and make a little bit of a tease, because if you buy my copy, not saying you have to buy my copy, but you should buy my copy. If you buy my cover, my copy.
No, you should buy the full 6-pack.
So exactly. Yeah. Never going to argue with a 6-pack, but if you buy my copy, you have the cover. As soon as you pop it open to that middle page, you're going to get the payoff. So it's kind of the before and after. So I really can't wait. I've had a blast. These panels have been great. Lots of action. Had a lot of fun. I get to play with my newfound design to do ink wash in the background for the sky. I've kind of found a new technique. I've saved some different brushes, kind of like what Brett was saying. I have brushes marked, use this one, dumbass, and a couple others, because I have to save them because it is a little bit different when I do different things on Crimson Shadows from what I usually use.
And you kind of started that in the last issue. We had some scenes where we had a high ceiling going up into darkness.
Yeah.
Because this takes place in 1888. So, when I first started doing the settings, I wasn't really thinking about lighting. I'm just thinking, oh, this is a cool thing. But then as I'm drawing, it's like, well, wait a minute, I need torches in this place. And oh, wait, the light wouldn't reach way up there in those ceilings. And so we had to create this gradient scale and stuff. And Kevin started blending his ink washes with his inking to give these gradient tones that really were nice. Because you can do that with the computer, but it becomes too perfect. And you can tell it's a computer-generated gradient. So I've been liking you doing these.
Yeah, these are all, I played around with a couple different things, and I found a pretty good scenario to come up with a couple different filters and to make it digitally.
Right.
And I like how it still has a little bit of a feel.
Yeah.
It's 3 layers to get that ink wash in the background. But once I get through it and play around with it, I really like how it turns out. And I'm, again, completely thinking you're going to add color to that background. So I don't want it to be too predominant. But I think with that tone and everything else, and you add a simple color to the background, it's going to look fantastic. And again, that's why we're leaving most of the figures a lot of white. I'm trying to add texture and not complete darks, because everything's going to be dark. So you just be looking at a bunch of ink on a page if we.
Well, and that you bring up a great point, because the more we work together, the more we know each other's styles. So you know what I'm capable of as a colorist. I know what you're capable of as an inker. So when I'm doing the layouts and designs, I'm thinking about what you're able to do. And then when you're doing the ink, like if this was going to be purely black and white, this is a night scene, you would have way more ink.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I'm really good at the dark colors. So my style of color tends to be more muted and dark, whereas like I struggle more with super cartoony, vibrant colors. Like I don't do well at those for some reason. I just see the world in too much darkness. I don't know. So my color style is really perfect for Crimson Shadows. So because Kevin leaves so much white space for me, I can play with my tones and having the subtle shifts to give it more of a 3D feel. And certain areas like where the cloaks go, it's very white there, but in mine, once I'm done, it's going to get very dark, but the black is still going to give you some contrast to show texture through that darkness.
Same way with the rocks in the background. I'm pointing like you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to do that too. It's like,
hey, right there. Can't you see? So I've left to emulate the texture and the very stark contrast of where it goes from black to white, knowing that that's going to be a dark gray color when you color it. So it looks like a very drastic change now, but as soon as you add even a medium gray to that, it's going to look fantastic. So it's great. Again, it's the three of us doing this, so we kind of know what everyone's going to do. And after doing a couple issues, we know where to leave leeway to allow the other part to shine. And that's it really happened in the last issue, which the majority of it was the two of us just going through that. And then I think we found a great style, and it's different from what you do. It's different from what I do when I draw by my own stuff completely. And that's what I love about it is it's not what I would it's not what I would do.
A great example is we all of us do our own covers for each issue. And if you look at any one of our solo covers, none of the covers represent the interior art, because each of us as individuals have different styles. But when we combine our talents for Crimson Shadows, we create a new style that none of us do by ourselves.
Right.
Even like the prologue and epilogues, I will typically do, and I'll typically do the full thing, and the style will look different in those pages.
And I like that. I do like that. That gives a little bit of a different tone to what's happening,
and it eases it up on you. Kevin, by the way, here's 44 pages to do.
Right.
At least through the prologue and epilogue, I can take some of that off.
This started as a 22 normal page comic, for Christ's sakes.
None of the issues have been. Our smallest issue so far, I think, is 30 pages. I had a 38 page and I think a 36 page. So once we are able to do a trade on all these, it's going to be a good sized trade.
Yeah, the thing is, it's this double size issue wraps up the storyline in such a great way. Everything that's happening, if you've read issues 1 through 3, this is the payoff. It's going to be a lot of action. There's a lot of great people get arms ripped off, faces ripped off. I mean, it's great. So I'm loving doing it. But the story payoff is also there. So this is wrapping up the entire first 3 issues. This is a great way to cap it off, and we really had to do it with the double issue. So your first arc of this storyline is how many pages? It's 150 pages.
Something like
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close to 150 for the trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
So,
great to do. I mean, as an independent comic, I mean, that's the beauty of this is versus like a mainstream, publisher, Marvel, DC, Dark Horse,
Exactly.
whatever. They stick to around 22 to 24 pages of story because they fill the rest of the 32 pages with ads. So when it comes to trade,
148 pages.
yeah.
148
So I mean,
pages.
and probably with extra bonus pages, things like that, to be thrown in the trade, probably 150 pages. And that's a good, solid story. And from an independent company, we can do that. And I liken it to how the new, a lot of the new series stuff like Disney Plus is doing and different Netflix and that. You get to the final episode of the season or series, they always do a little bit extra.
Right.
And that's kind of what this issue is doing here. Is this is like the end of our season 1, our first main arc in this. So it's got more story to kind of really tie everything up and not feel rushed here at the end.
Right.
We're going boom, boom. There's a lot that we're filling in that wraps up things for now, but then Scott's got it plotted out through another 8 more issues up through issue 12. So there's still a lot more story to tell.
I got to step away for 1 second. I'm just going to mute me for 1 second and I'll be right back.
All right.
You just remove my screen.
I just removed his screen. He's removed.
He's removed. I'm not on bottom anymore.
But yeah, I've always liked the way we've been doing these as having a little bit extra. It's it's like what you did with the trade for our Poe Macabre series that you've been doing. Is the trade actually had a bonus story in it, and what Scott's doing here is he's actually throwing it in issue 4 instead of throwing a bonus story in the trade because he wanted to have that story available to everybody that's been following along. Which is a key reason to keep buying the issues. You can wait till a trade comes out, but we're going on. It'll be, but from the time we launched the first Crimson Shadows issue to the time the trade comes out, 3 years. Which is not bad for 4 issues, but in between we did 3 issues of Poe. We did a Wretched Realms, a couple pin sets, a trade for Poe. So there's been a lot of Bardstone stuff in between. And a lot of the stuff you can do the add-ons for.
The real payoff is to have this complete story in the first 4 issues, and I know what Scott wanted. He didn't want to stretch it to 5 issues because we want to get the story out there because the first 3 issues, like you said, we've been working on this for 3 years, so we want everyone to see this wrap up of this first story arc because it's so good. I mean, we've had to sit on this for years.
Right.
It's killer. Scott's in the middle. Anyway,
yeah. Well, what I was actually going to scroll down to because I was mentioning about.
I tried to move you.
Yeah. So I was going to go to here's a closer up of the covers again. You can see all 6 of them here. All look great. The foil one's going to be just fantastic when that comes out.
I love your homage to Friday the 13th. I want to say number 5, if I'm saying correctly on the.
I don't know which one it was. I was trying to look at.
I think it's number 5.
I saw what Scott was doing, and he said, okay, I got the sexy girl cover this time because Brett's issue 1 sold the better of all of them with the sexy girl on the cover.
Brett, it's down to I think I only have 3 left in stock, which I'm sending over to Brett.
And I got none. I've got a graded one here. That's about it.
We literally have 3 issues left. So if you want any of those, you'll have to contact Brett directly because I don't have them available on here.
Yeah, that is something. We do have some of the graded books, so I think we forgot to pop some of those up as an award or add-on.
You're right. I gotta still. It takes so much work to put these.
Oh yeah. But just so everyone knows out there, we have some graded issues of 1 through 3 and some of the specials. So
we'll
pop some up there
together. Yeah, I got.
Some of those collectors out there, message Scott or me or Brett. And we'll see what we have because we've been able to get some really, really cool ones.
Yeah. Well, I know at Cincinnati, I sold my issue 1 that was graded. I had there sold.
Yeah.
We sold got 2 one in here. Vegas. I need to go through and see what I have because I personally am going to keep a couple. At least one of my covers for issue 1 and issue 3. I didn't do a cover for issue 2, but I definitely want to keep an issue 1 and 3 of mine just because I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And definitely hit us up, see what we got. And like for my cover, I got 3 left, and I may, if I do anything with them, I may only sell them in a set.
Yeah. So talking about rare covers, I want to point out this is a new thing we're doing. It's called the Rare Curiosities edition, and each of our regular covers we're doing a 1-of-1 print run with this gold monochromatic on metal cover print, and it's printed right on the cover, 1-of-1. So there won't be any more of the gold tones printed of these. The Frankenstein one already sold. There's 4 left. So get in on it if you want those. These never to be printed again in this format. And I've seen these on other Kickstarters, and they tend to do very well. So if you're thinking about it, grab it, because they tend to sell out on the ones I've been following.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. It's a great idea.
Yeah, and then of course all the reward packages, which you can go through and get everything. The best one right now though is the all 6 covers, but you have a 48-hour special
early bird.
Yeah, early bird.
Yeah, so there's the normal price 100, but at the top it's for 90 as an early bird. So there is that.
And that's a great way to guarantee you get all 6 of the regular covers, not including the gold. For those that like to collect the different covers, so it's a great way to go.
Yeah, they've been really fun to do. And then we also have, for if you're a comic shop owner or you're just a private collector who wants 100 of your own issues with your own cover, for $1,000, I will do an exclusive cover. We put your company logo on it. You get 100 printed copies, and then it will be serialized right on the cover. It'll say 1 of 100, 2 of 100. Now, if you so desire, you can upgrade the cover if you want it to be metallic. If you want more than 100 copies, we can work that out. It will be an added charge, though. I just have to do the math for whatever quantity you want. But right. So you can have a retailer exclusive, $1,000, which is a great buy, because typically those kind you can easily sell for 20 or more. So this is $10 each for your cost with an artist.
So that's cool. And then the add-ons are always important too.
Oh, I should add. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I should add. The default on that is that I will do the cover at no charge. Mm-hmm. But if you have a specific artist you do want to use, you're able to pick. So if you have good connections with some well-known artists out there and you want to hire them separate to do the art, I will coordinate with them and give them, images of our characters so they'll know how to draw them, and we will approve them for whatever cover you want. So yeah, if you want, Jim Lee or someone else to do a Crimson Shadows cover,
I hear Casada's drawing again. So
there we go.
He was always one of my favorites back in the 90s.
Yeah, he's back doing some stuff again, it sounds like. But
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and then with the add-on menu, this is where you can add on the gold cover if you want to add that on. Mm-hmm. And then the digital editions. This is also a cool way to just get the books to read if you decide, hey, I want to collect but not necessarily open them, and I want to keep the quality high. You can get them all available digital through here too. That's
$15 for all 6. You get Wretched Realms and Emmanuel also. So 6 issues, $15 only.
Yep.
That's
and
fantastic.
Then, printed issues, we've got for $12 each the Unlimited Scott Zambelli, and for $15 each the J. Travis Smith. I know at shows I've only got a couple of these left, so they're selling out fast for the J. Travis Smith.
I'm getting very low on all my quantities. I think I only have like 30 or 40 total unlimited editions left of Crimson Shadows one.
Yeah, I know I had to buy a bunch for the shows we did through the summer because they sold so well between Colorado Springs, Vegas, and Cincinnati. So what I'm taking to Baltimore is a lot of what I have left, and then after that point, it's gonna be we'll see what we have for starting the shows next year, and then
I expect Baltimore to be a good show, solid show.
And so if you go to the Baltimore show, if you're coming to Baltimore and you want to see them in person, come by them there, and if you back the Kickstarter while you're there and prove it to me, we'll probably throw in a little bit extra stuff for you.
Absolutely.
So just do
we'll
that
both
there.
And we'll be side by side in Baltimore, so come and see both of us, and we'll have a little bit of everything there. So if you guys sign up for the Kickstarter while we're there, we will make sure you are rewarded.
Yes. So we got that, and then for other printed issues, like Kevin's got his second issue for his limited cover is available.
I do want to point out too.
Yep.
I want to point out for the issue 2 and I think 3 also, I did a sale on our limited edition covers. So
I see that
normally $15. I want to encourage people to get those issues to really jump into. If you already have like the unlimited editions, I want you to be encouraged to stock up on these limited editions as collector pieces.
Yep.
So running a sale on those.
Yep. And there's the Sean Forney cover. It's been very popular as well as Scott did a second cover for the Cruiser Shadows, his limited cover.
Yeah.
And then the Dale Gruber one.
So the Ultra for Dale, I only have one or two left. I think there's only one available in the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I sold out of that pretty quick. I don't have any of the medals left of that one.
I do have. I have. I think a couple, and I have some of the black and white in case.
The black and white I have, so I do have that one on sale. But the cover, the metal, I didn't mark it up. It's at cover price. There's only one I think available, maybe two.
Yeah, I sold. I still have the black and white one myself. So
I also have a graded 9.8 of that metal cover.
Sweet.
So.
We'll put that together and put a list up so people can see.
Yeah, it might be good just to put a list up and let people know, and then put together a photo on Facebook and we can post it there so everyone knows what we have. Because people seeing them at the shows, it was great. We sold 2 in Vegas, and there were people that hadn't both of them. If I'm correct, Brett, both of them had not bought a graded comic at all ever.
Yeah, well, the one kid, I call him a kid, but he's like 20 something, got all excited with Kevin, and he would come back a couple times, and finally he's like, I'm just going to get it, and this is awesome. And I've never bought a graded cover. I just love. He fell in love with it, and just went nuts for it. So, and then we had what I like when we had in Vegas, so we had a lot of people that came up and had a few that would I'll just buy an issue. They were back in 20 minutes. They went and read it and came right back. Go, okay, I got to see.
Right. Yeah.
And one husband brought his wife back, and she was all giddy. And she's like, I read it. I need the other 2 now. When's the Kickstarter start? So I hope she's watching us now. I hope they support.
Yeah.
Because I gave everybody information for this. Because she was so excited about how the story was going, and she couldn't read the other 2 issues. And I said, wait till issue 4. So we talked a little bit about it without giving too much away, and how cool it's looking. And Kevin went in about the inks and that. But the metal stuff went fast, and then the graded comics definitely, have been exciting on that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we got those, and then issue 3, of course, has their covers. We got the unlimited one with Frankenstein, Kevin's unlimited there, Scott's limited cover as well, and then this was mine. Yeah, mine was kind of a mix of genres there, but I did a kind of want to show a little bit what's going on. Homage to it. But that's my Marty Feldman right there. It's from Young Frankenstein. So I did a robot chicken looking face guy for the Dr. Frankenstein. So it was just a fun. I was trying to think of stuff to do. It's like with this issue here, I was trying to think of something. Scott does his cover. I knew what Kevin was doing. I was like, okay, what am I going to do different? That's when I came up with the homage to Jason. I wanted to keep that homage thing going.
And just it's a perfect reflection of the story inside.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking for. I wanted to kind of do that. That's what I did with the first issue with the girl about to be attacked by Jack the Ripper. I wanted that thought process, and Kevin helped me out in the first 2 issues with the inks, and then I did issue 3 and then sent it to Scott, and he did some embellishment on the coloring for me because I'm more of just a standard. I do all bright colors, and Scott adds in the dark tone. Kind of so brought that out to
great.
It.
I love what you 2 came up with that. Really,
it was fun. No, he made the blood look better than I did. And I was trying to, but he definitely made the blood look better, and it worked on that. So we also have the
Mike Vasquez and
Josh Perez. Yep. And then we have the Ultra Metal. I still have a couple of these left.
I think I have less than it's 5 or 10. I forget.
I think I've got 3 or 4 left. I sold a couple here and there. And then for issue 4, you can add, if you do one comic, but you don't want all of them, you can choose which ones you want here and add them on. So it's like, I like the homage cover that Scott did. That's awesome.
I want to show the original cover. So this is Lee Elias. In 1953, he did a cover called for Chambers of Chills, number 19. Yep. And this is the original cover. And I just love the concept of looking through the glass. And when I saw that, the opening scene in the prologue, our Dracula has a captive victim. And so through my covers, you kind of see the story of how she got there. This is like my homage cover is how he captured her. then my unlimited cover is her being captured, and then the prologue is him talking to her. So there's kind of a little trail to how she ends up where she is.
Wow.
So,
and on a side note, that issue is almost impossible to find. So if anyone watching has that, I will trade you a lot of things for it.
and
Let me know.
Was it Image? Somebody reprinted it as another name.
Yeah, they reused it, but the original that's almost impossible to find in any grade. It's impossible.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. So
it was called Haunted. What was the reprint? Haunted.
I think they've reused that 3 or 4 times, but that is the original printing, and that is almost impossible to find. Now that's
Haunted
the magazine, right?
Here it is.
So the comic version is still tough to find. The reprint comic, I think, is 1963, 1965, something like that. So
yeah, the original was 53.
Yeah, it's an amazing image. It has always been one of the. I remember seeing that when I was a kid, and absolutely
it's just a classic. So and
Yeah.
it just fits so perfectly with my theme. So obviously, I did it a little different. If I go to StreamYard, actually, if I remove all of us.
Hey, it's
you
me.
can't talk
Hey,
if you remove them all.
Hey.
Yeah, we can't talk when we're removed.
Yes.
Oh,
so what are you trying to do, Scott?
I was showing what the image of mine was versus that.
Oh, well, here, I'll bring this back up then.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a great a great homage. It's anyone that knows horror is gonna recognize that issue. Absolutely.
It's not a 100%.
No, not at all. They're
altered
completely gonna they're gonna look at you and nod and say that's great because they're gonna recognize that.
I actually, the second I posted it, I had people, oh great, Elias would love it. I didn't even have time to even put who it was for.
Exactly.
People
yeah.
already knew. So
that's a great thing. It's one of the most classic horror covers ever. It's in the top. I think if you look at it, it's in the top 10 of anyone's list. It's in there.
Nice.
So
yeah, I was just doing a quick Google on that, and there's so many I've seen some reproduction stuff, things like that. So it's been sent all over in different ways. So, but yeah. But then we also have the foil edition. This is gonna be really good. For the people watching, you can't really tell how cool the foil edition is until you see it in person, because this is just a image we sent in. Once they actually print it and that red is popping out like it's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the red, the crimson in Crimson Shadows is going to be the red metal also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Ultra Metal this time is Scott's cover with the back of Frankenstein.
And that, I think, will turn out really sharp on the metal.
Yeah.
Having that contrast and lighting.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. I'm excited about seeing that one in metal. It's going to be fun. Then, of course, added on, you can add on some Wretched Realms. So we have the limited edition covers, unlimited editions. The cover was done by Sergio Cariello with Kevin doing the colors and inks. And then Scott and Kevin each had some covers available as well. And then there's the metal one, which is really cool. The metal one was fantastic in Wretched Realms. What I had, I sold out fast of that one.
So I do want to give a little tie-in, a little secret to people.
Mm-hmm.
So, once we become really big and amazingly famous,
yeah.
Kevin's playing the trumpet.
Yeah.
So going back to the old Marvel days, what is the most expensive, most valuable Superman comic there is? It's not Superman. It's Action Comics.
Yes.
Right.
The most expensive Spider-Man isn't Spider-Man.
No, it's the first appearance, which was
Amazing
in
Fantasy.
Amazing
Fantasy.
Well, our bounty hunter that's in this issue of Crimson Shadows, issue 4, that you are introduced to, his origin is actually Wretched Realms #1. So there you go. This is him in his younger years in Wretched Realms. And we see him older in Crimson Shadows 4. So there you go. If you want a tie into the Crimson verse, there you go. It's there.
Yep. Nice.
It takes place in America.
Yep.
versus.
And then, of course, Scott has his Emmanuel God With Us comic that he did several years ago.
Yeah,
and then he worked on this Legion of Justice.
Yeah, I did the colors for that. That's what the HB Comics. They're based out of New England. So if you are a Midwesterner going around to all those comic cons, you're not going to find this here. They tend to be the East Coast. But I did the colors on this issue here.
And then the novelization. Scott, talk a little bit about the novels.
So with our Crimson Shadow series, one of the things we do, and here's the novels. What a novel idea. One of the things we do is the origin stories of our monsters. We take the original novels done by, in this case, Mary Shelley for Frankenstein, Robert Louis Stevenson for Dr. Jekyll. The original novels are their origin stories. We are telling the continuation of their tales. But through the prologues and epilogues, we have our version of Dracula do the narration. And through his narration, he tells the connecting points between the original novel to our Crimson verse. So it gives us a fun way of tying the originals into this. We also want to encourage readers to read those original novels because they're amazing works. They really are. And why change? So many places change the origins of their characters to something new. But most people don't know the original stories. We know the Hollywood versions. And they're so well written and better written, I think, than what we've come to know. So that's what I want to do. I want to encourage people to read the classics. I've done illustrations on the beginnings of every chapter, along with the prologue and epilogue. So it gives, I always liked that when I was young, reading books where I always look forward to the chapter illustrations.
Right.
And so I added that to this.
Yep.
So.
And then, of course, we have the miscellaneous add-ons. We have the trading card set available.
Yep.
The hard enamel pins, if you missed out on that Kickstarter, are available.
Yep.
As well as the vinyl stickers.
Yep, those are popular as add-ons. People like adding those on.
Mm-hmm. And then there is the Poe pins available. We have a few sets of those.
Yep.
And then as well as the Poe trade back. That's his Scott's cover that Scott did for the Poe series trade.
Yeah, I have very limited quantities on these available. Very limited.
Yep. And then for Poe issue 1 and 3, he's got limited quantities available. I think I'm the only one with any issue 2s. I've got 2 issue 2s, but I'm only selling them as a set. So I have a set with all 3 issues, but I'm not selling them through the Kickstarter. So if you're interested in getting Poe individual issues, you want all 3, you want the issue 2, I'm going to make you buy the other ones as well.
Yeah.
Like
and all
you can still buy their
issue.
So.
And Scott's cover of issue 1 is gone. That was gone very quickly. So
I only have a limited supply.
Yeah, it's very limited. Everyone loves that image.
Yeah, and unlike the Crimson Shadows, which is an ongoing series, Poe is done as an anthology, like Tales from the Crypt. So if you could buy issue 1 and 3, and you're going to get the complete Poe stories in them, there's no carryover. You won't miss anything issue 2 other than different stories. So.
It's kind of like Creep Show or Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt and Creep Show. Yeah, it's fun because you like Brett said, you don't have to buy every issue. You can grab any of the issues and enjoy the story.
And we saw people doing that at shows. They were like, "Well, which one has, the Telltale Heart? Okay, I want that issue. Which one has, this? Which one has that?" And they and of course now we get people go, "Where's the Pendulum?" Well, that hasn't come out yet. So
yeah, I tell you, Telltale Heart was by far the most popular because issue 2 was gone, and the print run of issue 2 was the same as issue 1. Just so everyone knows, I mean, issue 2 sold out way faster than I ever expected.
Which usually number 1 sell fast, and then you get stuck with a bunch of 2s and 3s.
But we had some great covers. Sean Forney's covers for issue 2 was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, those went really quick. I honestly I love the way that the Telltale Heart worked in that. It's one of my favorites. But Brett is right. Everybody asks for the Pit and the Pendulum. That is the number 1 asked for a story other than the Black Cat. So the Pit and Pendulum is going to come very quickly, but it's a big freaking story. So it's going to.
We may have to do a double sized.
So for people who don't know, the Poe series is Kevin's little baby here, and he's been a big Poe fan for life. and he's has great insight into the backstories of the writings of Poe, and then but through the artwork we put it in a more modern setting, so it helps give a different take on the poems without changing the poems. Yeah. So he's done a fantastic job of putting these together.
Yeah, it's what I've always wanted to do.
My new thing right now is on Amazon Prime is watching a lot of the old Vincent Price horror movies based on the Poe books.
Yeah.
Poe poems. I just watched The Haunted Palace, and they got a bunch of others. I have to say, I'm really enjoying these classics. So this is going to be my Halloween viewing the next couple weeks, is all these old Vincent Price ones and stuff. They're really well done.
Yeah, I haven't watched quite a few of them in a few years. I have to pop them up because I love the old Vincent Price stuff. I used to catch them all the time when I was growing up, like on PBS.
That's what made me fall in love. I fell in love with Vincent Price before I fell in love with Poe, because I didn't know. Yeah. I mean, I just knew these as the movies, and my sixth grade English teacher made me read all the stories and said, "You're gonna like this.
You're gonna like it."
I realized I know all these. These are all the movies I love. So, I still always thank Mrs. Neer for doing that. But after all these years, I look back at that. I fondly remember those movies. It's such a comfort watching. Even though it's not a Poe, but watching House on Haunted Hill is like such a comfort thing for me. I love that movie. I've probably watched it 150 times in my life at least. But I love that movie so much. I just love Vincent Price in it. But that parlayed into Mask of the Red Death and The Raven and Fall of the House of Usher and all the different movies that he did was just their interpretations of Poe too. They're not literal translations of the Poe stories, but they're so much fun. It was just good horror,
Yeah, it was. They do a good job. I am seeing too. It's when you start watching them back to back, you start seeing how many of the same actors they use over and over.
Exactly.
Movie
exactly.
Movie.
You recognize the same people. The same things in all the Universal horror movies.
Yeah, or the Hammer films, or
you got Lon Chaney Jr., Lugosi, and they play the same characters back and forth, and they trade. I mean, Chaney Jr. played the monster Frankenstein more than anyone else, but everyone forgets about that,
Right.
But yeah, it's such a great. You can go into that rabbit hole. It's so much fun, and it's when everyone really loved it, and it was a craft, and they treat it with a lot of respect, and similar to what we're trying to do with what we're doing here, and not changing these origin stories of these creatures that were created by all these great authors.
The only origin I've changed is the actual Dracula character himself, but so that is our unique character because he is the main villain in the series. But even that, I'm working in elements of the original tale. When you go farther back in his story, there's elements in it, but you find out there's a twist. So I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
What a twist.
Twist. The twist of lime.
Well, I think one of the most important things here to cover is stretch goals.
Yeah. So, you get a Bardstone sticker at 2,000. So, hey.
Yeah. Well, 3,000 though is the 4x6 mini print on good gloss cardstock, and that's of Scott's cover there.
Yep.
And then there's my cover for 4,000, and then Kevin's for 5,000. 6,000 we get the really cool one, which is the homage cover that Scott did, which is gonna be fantastic. And then 7,000 would be the Frankenstein one. And then if we get past that, they're more.
Yeah, I think if we hit 8, I'm going to upgrade them all to metals. And these are all put in for free into whatever. Or if you have a $20 order, you're going to have these added. So, that adds up really quick in value to your packages. So, but we need the volumes. We need the volumes to offset the cost so we can afford to put all that into the packages.
And of course, risks. There's always risks involved with any Kickstarter, but we have 100% completion and on-time delivery for all the Bardstone related titles.
Yeah, this is our 13th
Yeah.
campaign.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, so we're doing well, and they've all been funded. They've all been on time. We're up to 920 now for our amount, so we're almost at 50% funded.
Nice.
So 21 backers. That's awesome. So I'm hoping tomorrow we are fully funded is my goal, and then we can start working towards unlocking those other goals.
Absolutely.
Some of the things I want to do for upgrades, if we can hit 10,000, I want to do some upgrades to possibly the printing process itself, pay for upgrades for people there, things like that. So, but that all takes money. So we just got to get there.
Yes, definitely. So
absolutely.
A big way you guys can help, though, is all of you people watching, you backers, please share the links.
Absolutely.
Because
yes.
That's huge for us. If organic growth is what we need, we do really well up to 100 backers. We tend to we seem to keep hitting this ceiling at 100. So our real goal here is I want to break 200 on this one. So anybody out there, share and it benefits you guys because the more people we get, the more money we raise, the more stretch goals we unlock, the more free stuff we give you. Yeah. So it helps everybody.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. I've been posting throughout. The links are there. It's in the original post. Also, go to bardstone.com. We have links on there. So we're easy to find, or just find us on Facebook and ask us to post it again. We'll gladly post it again.
Yeah, and I've been sharing links all over my socials as well. So hopefully we'll see this. Like I said, get funding by tomorrow so we can concentrate on everything else. So
yeah,
awesome.
Same here.
Thank you, everybody. Want me to play the video for the way out?
Yeah, I should do that. So watch the video, guys.
Here we go.